All right, Shalawam, I came out there. First and foremost, before I start, I want to give all praises to Yahawah, baha, sham, Yahawashi. Yahawah, that's the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahawashi, that's the name of his beloved Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Double to the apostles of great millstone, and peace and mercy to elect. Baha, sham, Harakakadash, in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right, this one right here is going to be, Esau knew who we were during the time of slavery in the slave Bible. All right, now the Negro, Latino, and Native American man makes up the 12 lost tribes of Israel. And the Edomites are the so-called white men, the one that took us in slavery, the one that stole the land from the indigenous people of this land and did all these different atrocities and nightmares to us. The Edomites, that's the Edomites. All right, now during the time of slavery, this guy well knew that he had grabbed the children of Israel up. And this guy well knew that he had to hide the lies. He had to hide the truth from us with a abundance of lies. Now, what I have right here is a book called Before the Mayflower. All right, so I have and it's written by Lerone Bennett Jr. Now, this book is full of a lot of solid information. I haven't even went through the whole book, but the little things that I have went through brings out solid keys on this Edomite in reproving this dude. Now, before I start getting into this book, let me read this scripture right here, because this is the Spirit of the Lord was what has happened unto us. This is Romans chapter 8 verse 16. It says, "The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High." So Yahawah Shai Spirit have witnessed to us that we are the children of the Most High. The things that the Negro, Latino, Native American went through, has been through, all right? It's going through and has been through. When we read the scriptures in this book, it testifies against us that, oh, that's the reason why. Because we're the children of Israel. This prophecy happened in us, oh, because we're the children of Israel. So this book right here, the words of the Lord, shows us that we are the children of Israel. Now, this so-called white man, this Edomite, knew that, and he had to hide that. He had to hide that because, as it's spoken in Judith, the 5th chapter, as long as we are separated from our power, we are conquerable. But if we're with our power, you can't do nothing against us. And the Edomites took advantage of that against us, man. All right, so jumping in this book, Before the Mayflower, all right, when you jump to page 87, slack it. When you jump to page 87, the first thing, one of the many things that's quoted in this book is, a certain of cotton rained down for some 40 million human beings. It became a crime to teach those. It became a crime to teach these men and women to read and write. It became a crime to give them a Bible. Why would it have become a crime to give us a Bible? It was a crime for the Negro, Latino, or Native American man to read or write. It was a crime for the Negro, Latino, Native American man to have a Bible. Why? Because this is our book. The Holy Scriptures, that's our book. That's our history. That's why the slave Bible came apart, came, and that's what was given us. Now, the slave Bible consists of a Bible that's failed with a lot of scriptures. They have taken a lot of scriptures out of the slave Bible. Why? Because the words of the Bible would have had lifted us up during the time of slavery. All right. So it was a crime for us to read the book, to read our own book, to separate us from our heritage. All right. And that's how the Most High prophecy of Jeremiah came to pass on us. It was during this season when we was in slavery to this very day. Jeremiah wrote about it through the Spirit of the Lord. This Jeremiah chapter 14 verse 2. It said, Jeremiah 17 verse 4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, should discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in a land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So the Most High put the spirit on this Edomite, the so-called white man. He put the spirit on this guy to make it a crime for us to read and write, and also to read the scriptures. And that's how Jeremiah 17:4 was established. That was a part of how it was established of us discontinuing for our heritage. All right. They took the words of life from us, and we slowly over generations lost who we were. All right. So jumping back to this book, when you jump to page 87, I mean, this is on page 98. It gives you a solid whoop. On the plantations, it was spiritual. We knew who we were back then. And it was little key names that we would give each other, in key songs that we would sing, showing that we was the Israelites. And the Edomites knew that. This is on page 98. It says, although slave masters tried to make drivers the leading figures of slave role, the influence of these functionaries Sodom exceeded the circle of white power they reflected. Now, during the time of slavery, they set up a system called the driver, which they would take one of our people, a coon, a Stephen, somebody who was for the white man, all right, for the fact of getting pleasures or to get more than the other slaves. These guys, these Israelites that was chosen, were head of the system of picking cotton. So you will have a Jake that will be whooping the back of other Jakes, doing the bidding of the Edomites, all right? Telling Jake that was whooping the back of that other Jake, hurry up and pick that cotton. You hurry up and you know you better make your quota. But it was our people. But these same guys that was the lead drivers, Esau put them up to try to make them a lead role over our people. Try to make them an influence over our people to be obedient to the master. But these guys that was cooning like that, they were shunned by our people who were getting their backs whipped by him. They didn't take them as the leaders. They respected the men due to the fact that they didn't want to get their backs slashed. But there was another guy they looked for leadership, and is going to tell you. So that guy who was supposed to be set up for influence on our people was shunned by our people, and it was another guy that was setting that our people admired as a leader. It says the slaves instead looked to natural leaders who received their credentials from age, wisdom, strength, and the powers of the world of the spirits. So our people they didn't look for the slave driver, that cool nigga, to be the leader, but they looked for natural leaders, somebody who the Most High put the spirit on. Even during the time of slavery, there were spiritual men, all right, because the election, the ones who the Most High put his spirit in, them same guys was during the time of slavery. We all went through slavery, you know, we went through slavery as a whole. In the scriptures say that the spirits of the prophets are subjected onto the prophets. So during that time, it was spiritual men. We was back there, you know, spiritual men. So it was a natural spiritual leader that our people look forward to, and it was due to, just as our customs go, the age, wisdom, strength, and the powers of the world of the spirit. Somebody who was real spiritual. And it says, one slaveholder said it was a notorious fact that on almost every large plantation of Negroes, there is one amongst them who holds a kind of magical sway over the minds and opinions of the rest. To him, they look for the oracle. So it was usually on every large plantation, there was usually one Jake that was just super spiritual, who all the other Jakes looked up to. You know what I'm saying? All right? And they look to him for guidance, wisdom, whatever it is they may have been going through, you know, and that Jake will give them advice. And it says, it says, the influence of such a Negro, often a preacher, on the quarter is incalculable. Such a person was Old Abram. That's what they called that guy. They called him Old Abram. Okay? What does that nickname come from? That come from our forefather Abraham. That was one of the many great prophets that held high in very high regards in his very time throughout all history since he came, Abraham. That guy on the plantation was called Old Abram, showing that we was Israelites, man. We had that connection with the scriptures, and still to the very day we hold that connection, even though it's encompassed with false and fake doctrine. You see our people in the churches. You see our people talking about God bless you and the Lord will make everything good, and even though they're talking about another God, but it's the spirituality that's in them. So on this plantation, you had guys who was called Old Abram. It says a plantation patriarch. Such a person was Old Abram. This guy who they regarded as the leader of the plantation amongst the Negroes, and he was a spiritual man. It says a plantation patriarch who was said to be deeply versed such philosophy as it taught in a cabin of the slaves. Just like it show you in the movie Birth of a Nation, dealing with Solomon Northup, he would be considered the Old Abram. You know, a man who say for instance Esau decided to teach him the scriptures. You had certain cases like Solomon Northup. You know, it says that this guy was keen. He was keen with understanding. Our people looked up to him. And that's a part of our heritage. All right. We know that we had prophets set up who our people held in regard, high regards. You had kings that was set up that our people held in high regards. All right. So that just goes to show you Esau knew who we were. He knew who we were. And that's why he took out a lot of them scriptures. Now, this dealing with the slave Bible on page 99 is going to go a little bit into that. All right. It says, this is on page 99. It says, we must note first that the religion taught to the slaves was a censored problem, which dwelt almost always in the duties of obedience. Now, pablum, it says the religion that was taught to their slaves was a censored pablum. You look up the word pablum, P-A-B, let me let that pass, P-A-B-L-U-M, pablum, it means to feed. To feed. All right? So the religion that our people was taught was a censored pablum, a censored feed. Meaning Esau gave what he wanted to give. That's where the slave Bible came in at. They took a lot of the scriptures out of the slave Bible and only put in the ones that encompass them, the slaves being obedient to the master. Now it says that, it says, was a censored pablum which dwelt almost always on the duties of obedience. So the religion that was given our people was a censored pablum which dwelt on the duties of obedience, to be obedient to Esau, the Edomites, the so-called white man. And that was the slave Bible. It says, J.W. Fowler of Coahoma County, Mississippi, told his overseers that he had no objection to his slaves hearing the gospel if they heard it in its quote, original purity and simplicity, end quote. It says, what did this mean? Ephesians chapter 6 verse 5, usually servants be obedient to them that are your masters. So these different slaveholders or slave masters or plantation owners, they had no problem with the slaves hearing the gospel as long as it was original in purity and simplicity, right? And it said, what did that mean? That the slave owners meant when they say it was in its original original purity and simplicity, it meant Ephesians 6 and 5. If you wasn't teaching the slave, when you was talking about the gospel to the slaves, you made sure that the slave holders, the slave master had no problem as long as it was encompassed with being obedient to them. Not all the scriptures. Not all the scriptures. As long as it meant to be obedient to Esau, that's what he prescribed to us. You know what I'm saying? All right? So Esau knew who we were. Esau knew what to do. As long as he cut us off from our life support, which is the scriptures, he will have the rule over us, man. All right? So that goes to show you, man. All right? Look, check this out. The next line, it says, American slaves, with few exceptions, rejected this version of Christianity. So at first, when we first was dealing with this, Esau being over us and slavery and taking what he could from us, we was rejecting Christianity at first. But that generation went by, Esau still capitalized over us. Generation went by, it faded away of fighting against Christianity. Well, now you see majority of our nation make up Christianity. Negro, Latino, Native Americans, y'all, majority of us make up Christianity. All right? It says American slaves, with few exceptions, rejected this version of Christianity. Their God was the God who delivered the Israelites. Let me show you that. All right? I'm going to show you that line. They said the slaves rejected it. And it says, their God was the God who delivered the Israelites. We knew that back then. A lot of us knew that. Over time, it had faded in the generations. The first crop of slaves and the ones who was first fighting, once they died off, the understanding of us knowing who we were got chopped. It got chopped. And the Most High said it. Jumping back to Jeremiah 17:4, I will discontinue you from your heritage. So the Edomites, the slaveholders back then, they knew who we were. We knew who we were. And in time, it changed. In time, it changed. All right? Let me grab a couple of these scriptures before I continue in that book. When you jump to Psalms 83, I'm going to get this one real quick. I got two of them, and I'm going to jump to the book. When you jump to Psalms 83, when you jump to Psalm chapter 83, verse 2, it says, For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. So that has happened to us. We have been cut off from understanding who we were. And it was Edomites, the so-called white man, who knew what it is that they was doing to us, man. And we at first knew who we were. We knew we was the Israelites. We rejected Christianity, and we knew that our God, brothers, I'm working, but our people knew who they were back then. We knew we was the Israelites, and the so-called white man knew who we were. And they cut us off according to Psalms 83 so that they could conquer us, man. All right? So, but the Lord gonna jack Esau up for what it is he have done to us, man. When you jump to Isaiah 29, and was that 15, it says, Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, Who seeth us and who knoweth us, man? This so-called white man, everything he did, now that we're in this very future 2019, he's trying to hide it all. But the Spirit of the Lord has searched out Esau. The Spirit of the Lord has searched out Esau using the prophets and the different spiritual men that's out there. All right? The Spirit of the Most High have put the Spirit on a guy named Laurent Bennett Jr. to write this book, Before the Mayflower, exposing this devil. And now in 2019, you got my hands who have grabbed the book and have read and reading what Esau tried to hide. That we are the people of the Most High. The Negro, Latino, Native American man make up the 12 lost tribes. And he did a lot of treacherous stuff to us. And he did a lot of demonic hiding of what really is going on here. And now spiritually, you see the Most High is putting his spirit back in his people. And there's an uprising occurring. Everything is all tottering right now. Matter of fact, let me read this and finish Isaiah 29:16. It says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, for shall the work of him that made it, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing framed say him that framed it, he had no understanding? You know? So the Most High gonna turn right side up what Esau has turned upside down. That's what the Most High gonna do for us, man. All right, now, now, I got one more thing I want to go into dealing with this book Before the Mayflower. Now, dealing with the songs that we would sing during the time of slavery was incorporated with spirituality, man. It was hella spiritual, and our people will be actually singing about past events that happened in the scriptures, tying it with themselves. Like dealing with the blues. The blues came during the time of slavery. That tune of music, the blues. And the blues, it tell you right in this book, the blues it started off as Jake's Jake's singing in sorrow, asking for deliverance. Now let's get a little bit into it, dealing with these songs. When you jump to page 103, it says, the mood and the meaning of the products they created varied, as we can see if we look for a moment at the spirituals. There were coded spirituals and protests of defiance based on the passion and eventual triumphs of Hebrew slaves of Egypt. Whoa, it says that, man. I'm not making this up. Our spirituals was based off of the triumphs of the Hebrew slaves of Egypt. So we knew who we were. We knew where our past went back to, dealing with the first generations of slavery. All right? And the Edomites knew. It says, it gives songs. It says, right here, it gives you the songs that they actually sung. Some of the words. It says, "Oh Mary, don't you weep, don't you moan. Pharaoh's armies got drowned." You heard that? "Oh Mary, don't you weep, don't you moan. Pharaoh's armies got drowned." We'll be singing things like that. That's a quote from one of their songs, a line from one of their songs. Who was Mary? That was Mary was Moses' sister, Aaron and Moses' sister. And who was Pharaoh? That was the one who the Lord destroyed during the time of Egypt, man. All right? It said, "Don't you weep, don't you moan. Pharaoh's armies got drowned." Just like the Edomite, the so-called white man, the new slave master, you're going to get drowned. The Most High is going to drown you now. And we seeing that as your kingdom start to fall. All right? Another songs. It says, "There were joyful sounds unto the Lord. I went down into the valley to pray. My soul got happy and I stayed all day." That was another line from one of their songs. Spiritualness, man. That's why Romans 8:16 is on point. The Spirit beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. You know? The sons of Asaph, written in the scriptures, was the singers. And you see our people, they wreck them off, man. All right? Like for instance, Mariah Carey. That's our people. She sings her ass off, man. Amongst a bunch of other Jakes. You know? It says, in regrets, this is a song of regrets. Don't know what my mother wants to stay here for. This old world ain't been no friend to her. All right? let me see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so that's pretty much it, man. I'm over here working as well. I got to get back, but it goes to show you that we are the children. Esau knew who we were during the time of slavery, and he put that slave Bible there on purpose, man. We knew who we were back then, and we was way more spiritual back then. But as generations grew, as generations came and went, we lost who we were. And now we're in the end. The Most High, let me grab this real quick. The Most High put the spirit back in us, in its own. All right, and we putting this Edomite on blast for what he have did to us. We're telling them that he has to pay, and we building ourselves back righteously. This is up in Barak chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me because of the stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their power, and I will give them a heart and ears to hear, man. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. So that's what has happened to us. A lot of atrocities have failed us due to prophecy. And now the prophecies of us returning is occurring right before the Edomites' face. And we're bringing out the truth on this dude, that you put that slave Bible out there to hide the truth from us. And you knew who we were. And back then we knew who we were. All right, so that has been... The Edomites knew who we were during the time of slavery in the slave Bible. I hope that was edifying to you, brethren out there. I'm going to say, Barak to Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. Shalom, Akim, Step, Shalawam.